Alright, here we are then. Welcome everyone and a very good afternoon on today's stream on the closed beta testing for A.V.A. dog tag. I'll be alone for the first couple of minutes because Rob is still filling in on all the PMs he's been getting. He's pretty much been answering about 5 PMs a minute, he told me earlier on this morning. So it's quite something that he has to arrange. So he'll be assisting me in a bit, and before he gets in, I'll be showing you some videos of stuff that you may not have seen before. So we're going to look at this video here, uploaded by Saya. This includes most of the gun sounds of the guns that we're going to have in-game during CBT. It excludes the para because we have that video right here. But we're gonna listen to this one first, so we know how the guns are gonna sound like for those who haven't seen it yet. The sound is on. Yeah, it is. So the M4. And as you can hear, it has like a more vibrant sound at the end. It's not as shallow as it was during alpha. I haven't fully watched the video actually, by the way. See, more of a vibe to it. It's deeper. Here as well, it's a bit deeper. So I like that. Yeah, G36 also a type. This one's a bit different though to the old one. Let's see what this one is about. This one's good. I like it. Yeah, these are the gun sounds that we currently have. I'm just going to show that to start off with. So the FAMAS, a newly added gun. The OTS. I'm really glad that they added this one. Interesting. The AKBs. The hated gun by so many people. That sounds weird, actually. It's cool. I'll listen to it, Zana. Yeah, MP7 sounds classic. I like that. Silencer is a bit odd. That could indeed be wrong, because that doesn't resemble the old one at all, Zana. So I see why. Yeah, that's the HK. I don't know why they added this gun, to be honest, because it's a gun that they added in 2017, I believe, in Korea, or even this year. So I don't get why they added that. Oh, I like this. This is so deep. It's gonna feel so good to hold the Remington. Do we have here? Listen to the echoes. You heard it for so long. I like that. Yes, thank you. Show it more. So the SV98. What's cool about this teaser though is that it actually shows the pistols that we have, which weren't shown on the website. So for the people that didn't see the video, there's a teaser coming up. Not yet, but in a few. Yeah, Whistle, thanks. That's an interesting sound. No, there's no TPG for now. Interesting. Again, don't know why they added this gun. It's probably because it's like in between a bolt action sniper and a semi-sniper, but I'd rather see guns like a PGM, a TPG, or an FR, to be honest. It's a Beretta. Already had that. Yeah, that sounds the same as Alpha, I think. Because I don't hear the differences. So the Glock. Sounds a little bit different, to be honest. It's actually very close to the real life sound. I like that. Okay, interesting. So the Python then. That's a very different sound. Let's see Deagle then. I expected it to be louder, to be honest. Yeah, this sound is right. This is a good one. Yeah, boom. Thanks. We're doing the grenades as well. Ooh, that sounds good. Yeah, the flash. Yeah, it's the same as Alpha 2. Or Alpha. Is that it? Yeah, that was it. Okay, so those were the gun sounds that they have shown in the video. This is what Saya uploaded. This is directly from the game file, so we can expect them to be true. Although Zan already know that the sound for the AKS-74U is a bit weird. So maybe that was more for the AK-47. Let's see if Rob is ready. If he's not ready, then we have to talk about some other stuff. So in the meantime, I'll show you the Wikia already. I've added quite a bit of information, like patch notes. I added a bit about the gun and the maps. We can look at the patch notes, though, what I added about that. So this was for Alpha 1, the maps. Alpha 2. We probably want to read this. This is on Alpha 2. Yeah, I'll show that in a bit. Oh, yeah, I forgot to change that. Whoops. A.V.A. Dog Tech. Thank you for the heads up. I changed it. Navy Attack. Thank you. So yeah, this was about Alpha 2. Might be nice to read this. So we had about 100 people from the core testers who joined in with that. It was 3 days of testing, full 72 hours of testing, and we got to check the changes that are already made before it being put into CBT. What was interesting is that the flashes were like 6 seconds, which were really, really OP. So, yeah, I have that in one of my videos as well. I'm not sure if Andy has it too, but I think the main thing, of course, was that the para was added. Was nice to see the para being added. I had 25 bullets. It felt a bit like a para with the Spetsnaz barrel equipped, if you compare it to the old A.V.A. But yeah, the ROF was slightly too high, and then, as we already saw now, the para, as far as I heard at least, the ROF has been reduced, but we also see 5 less bullets. So I'm curious how that is going to work, because obviously a para is a gun with 25 bullets and not 20, but we'll see. Yeah, the smokes have been slightly reworked. It pops now after a certain amount of time. The duration has been increased. Duration is actually good now. And what Rob also mentioned is, I'm not sure if that's in the dev notes too, but we're going to get another smoke grenade, which means that we have different options of smoke grenades. So one that pops and one after a certain amount of time, and one that pops differently. I think more the CS or other way around. Yeah, recoil was different. Aim punch different, and yeah, shift walking speed increase, which was a main concern, which is better. To just answer your question, I believe we got an extra knife. I actually know what that knife is, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention. But Rob has PM'd me back at this point, so maybe we can ask Rob right away with that. Let's see what he says. So let's see if he's going to pick up. I have voice activation, so he's probably going to go crazy. Have to wait a little bit. What is bloom supposed to be? Bloom is like the crosshair enlarging, like slightly going bigger, but it has been made in a non-RNG form, which means that it spreads around in a certain circle. So the circle that keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and on that line of the circle, you should see the spread of a gun. Did Rob join in? I think he did.
Hello.
There we are. Rob is in. Welcome. Let's see if I need to buff you a little bit. I think I do. So yeah, we were just talking with the chat about the CBT build, and we heard a couple of people speak about the knives. Are there any new knives being added already, Rob? I mean, is there anything you want to share, I should say, perhaps?
I think it's shared already on the roadmap.
I don't
but
think the
I don't
actual
have.
knife was mentioned because, well, I can remember it, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to share it, obviously.
Well, there are two knives that are included in the CBT build,
Yeah, that's correct.
and I believe there's a skins of the same type of knife at this time.
Yeah, we have the field knife with the chrome variant for those that participated in the alpha testing, and we have a new knife being added, but that's not being listed on the website. That's currently not listed there.
Yeah, I would have to check on that
No, no, I can say it
actually.
if you want me to.
Oh, you know it?
Yeah, I can still remember. My
Why?
memory is good.
I don't know it. So go ahead then.
Alright, so the second knife would be the harpoon knife, which is also a classic knife if we look back at A.V.A, so I think it's a good addition. So there we go, we're already dropping teasers.
All right.
So let me just write that down if this page wants to work. All right. So yeah, we just listened to the gun sounds a little bit of the video that Saya uploaded, which covers pretty much most of the guns that have been added so far. But I think we should talk a little bit about the process of pretty much alpha to close beta, because as I've heard, it was pretty damn busy for you guys.
Oh yeah, I'm still busy actually, and many of our team members actually just went home. Right now it's like 11 p.m. here, so it's been like the same schedule throughout post alpha until now. So we're just making sure that everything's intact and making sure that the delivery of the build for CBT wouldn't bring up any uh, potential issues. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're all very busy. In terms of the process of the changes, the major focus that we had. I don't know if everyone had the chance to check out the site updates that we made, but we have made a separate section for a director's comment. And when
Mm-hmm.
we say director, that's actually the director of the whole AVA project. So he's the decision maker. Um, and he's been actually looking into your feedbacks. Even though I'm in the forefront here, chatting with you guys all the time, he's on the back end, looking at all the surveys that were brought in after Alpha 2, and now even after CBT, it'll be the same thing. Looking at all the tallies and the survey results, and also some direct feedbacks from Discord, he shared his thoughts on many of the questions to answer some regular questions, but also to provide some insight regarding where we're headed with the roadmap. So
Mm-hmm.
the idea of providing our users answers to feedback have always been there, but this time around we wanted to visualize it for you guys, so it's easier for the users to understand what our goals are, where we're wanting to go with this. And as you can see, many of the change implementations have been brought up by the community. So you can see that. You can see that some weapons were added according to the feedback results from Alpha. You will see when the servers go live that many of the changes reflected upon how the users felt regarding the balancing
Yeah.
and movement and everything actually in game. So you'll see that.
All right. If we just stick to the guns real quick, do you already have some ideas of which guns you plan to add, or are you solely focusing on community feedback of which guns you want?
Well, it's actually more complicated than that. The complication comes in when we're speaking of balancing between the guns.
Mm-hmm.
So every new gun that we introduce to the game build, it it provides sort of a loophole for certain other guns already present in the game. So, in order to balance the overall structure of the gunplay, we need to not only just simply introduce a new weapon, but look at other weapons and how this particular weapon
Stands out.
stands out or
Yeah.
works against other weapons out there. So it takes time. It takes a lot of testing as well. So considering those elements, we do go through extensive testing, and therefore we don't know at this time which weapons will be added because it has to go through that process.
Okay. Well, like the community is also saying in the chat right now, they're already dropping a lot of guns in the chat. So what we could do, since you don't really have any information yet, is make a list of the most viable weapons for you to debate internally, and then perhaps pick a few of them.
Well, in terms of, well, I don't make that decision first of all, but
Yeah.
anyways, I think once we conduct the CBT, or even before the CBT ends,
Mm.
we would like to send out the survey for the CBT feedback. And the reason why we want to send it out as soon as possible is for the users testing it to understand what we're looking for in terms of the outcome of the CBT.
Yeah.
Um, and within that will be including the additional weapon ideas and some potential. Maybe we can set it so that we can suggest some weaponry that we're considering to add, or we can, on the other hand, do it as we did it in alpha, where you guys suggest the weapon and we would tally that and just pick like number one or two from the top down.
Yeah, you can also always include an extra option in the feedback form, which is like guns you'd like to see in the game, and just have people list guns there in a short text format what they want.
Yep. So it's an ongoing process, and I mean, by no means, I'm not claiming everything will be perfect, but we're trying to get it as efficiently as possible. So that's why we're really busy here at Redduck, and hopefully, the CBT will turn out to be much more progressive compared to the alpha.
All right. Just to fall back on CBT, since I just saw a question come in the chat about that. Since we had like rewards for alpha testing, what are the plans for this for CBT?
Yes, we are uh, in the current stage of planning for an event for CBT as well. But again, there's a lot of priorities uh, right now that we have to handle. So we'll try to get that out as soon as possible. I can't share any details at this time because nothing is for certain, but we do have some ideas. We're trying to revolve the event this time around to achievements in game. So by that, I mean we would like to encourage users to utilize the new functions in the game, what we added in CBT in terms of UI or in game mechanics, to tally that. And as you
Mm.
guys know, there's new leaderboard included in this build.
Yeah.
So utilizing the leaderboard, for example. So there are some ideas that we'll bring out, but we'll announce it. I guess before CBT starts tomorrow, hopefully. If not, as soon as possible.
All right.
So
And what about a mini event if users kill you and make a screenshot of that? They get a special item.
um, I might not even be able to play actually because it's just so busy right now. But we'll see.
All right. Let's see. I saw some other questions come in. Let's see if I can remember the one. Oh yeah, the additional game modes for later on in the build. So far we have Demolition and Annihilation, which has been renamed to Team Deathmatch. Are we looking to, or are you guys, I should say, looking to add new game modes in to the game in the future, or is that not being debated as for now?
No, it already has been discussed internally, and the discussion is ongoing. We're pre-planning everything. Like I'm pretty sure that we don't share all the information that we can.
Hmm.
Or maybe I should rephrase that. We don't share every single detail with the community, but that's with a good reason. So we share what is for certain, and when we decide is the most probable time or the best time frame for the users to know about the upcoming plans. It's quite complicated also, but bottom line is we already have undergone um, a detailed internal discussion regarding everything, including the maps and modes, especially modes as well. So new modes we are planning to add in the future. We can't disclose which
Which, yeah.
ones are up for debate at this time, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's already good to hear that there are new modes going to be added. I think I already have some ideas about that, but I guess we'll see in the future. In the meantime, I also see a lot of questions coming in about crosshair changes and uh, yeah, crosshair customization in particular. I believe that was also included in the alpha feedback. Do you have anything to share about that?
Yes, crosshair feedback is something that we understand that it's part of or it's part of one of the major feedbacks that have come in.
Mm-hmm.
But when we prioritize all the feedbacks that do come in and making a roadmap of ourselves for the development or the modifications to
Mm-hmm.
be done to the the SQL builds. So from alpha to CBT, CBT to OBT builds, we need to prioritize what's most vital in terms of changes being needed. Crosshair changes don't come out as a topic um, seemingly to be game breaking or anything
Mm-hmm.
that has to be dealt with right this moment. So it is something that we are looking into providing in the future, but it's definitely not one of the major priority issues at this time. And
Okay.
I'm sure you guys can appreciate that we could utilize the resources and time to introduce those things um, towards other major changes that
Yeah.
we have already made. So consider, for example, the movement changes that we have made for the CBT, where you can go into option and turn on or off the strafe running
Yeah.
mechanics. These changes, if we didn't change it for CBT and worked on the crosshair, for
Yeah.
example, and ended up changing this function of the movement issue in OBT, I don't know. For me,
Yeah.
I think it's working backwards, right?
Yeah, I agree with
So
that. We should indeed look at the main issues first, and when that's all solidly set up, we can look at new functions, but perhaps closer towards the official launch or even post launch. But it's nice to see that you have it up for debate as a topic.
yeah, definitely, it is everything. Every single thing that do come in, we do discuss it. Um, we do prioritize it. We do also consent on the idea itself, adding our values on top of it as well. So it's not something that we don't just throw away ideas. We don't do that. We actually look at ideas. We add our ideas onto it. We come up with a plan, and then we decide to implement it and then prioritize it, and the process goes on. So yeah,
Hmm.
just keep bringing in the feedbacks. We always mentioned this in we did this in the alpha stream as well, right?
Yeah,
Feedback is vital because of this.
yeah,
So regardless of whether you see the changes like the next day or if it hasn't changed yet, that's not the issue. The issue is we're listening, so you need to constantly send us
yeah.
feedbacks.
And to just add to that, in your feedback form, don't if your friend lists an issue and you're like, oh, he listed the issue, I don't need to do that. Please do not do that. If you notice something that is wrong with the game or something you'd like to see change, make sure to add every single thing that you can think of in this feedback form, even if your friends also list it. Because if more people voice out for certain issues, of course, that shows a higher demand for a certain issue and a bigger reason for Redduck as well to make those changes. So it's very important to keep that in mind when we're looking at changes to be made in the future. To answer some other questions in the chat real quick, EU and NA people will indeed be able to play together, as you have the option to select the server you want to connect to. You can do this even in
Yes.
the lobby, so you can swap between the North American and the EU server. As we look for other regions, I think this is mainly aimed at C regions and South American regions. I believe there's going to be a separate test conducted for that in the future, or how does that work?
That is the plan at this time. We don't have the details laid out for the additional test, but that is something that we're considering on doing. And the reason being is there are several reasons. First of all, there is player experience diminish, or the quality of it diminishing from people with 300 ping connecting, or even like 200 ping connecting, to ruin the gameplay for others that do have
Hmm.
less than 60 ping. So this is something that we don't want to endorse. But at the same time, as the original question suggested, we don't want to create all sorts of detailed limitations for the users, such as transferring between realms, like the servers from EU and NA. But for those people that are playing, we want to make sure that the quality is actually at least to par standard. So, with this being said, it is much more work for us. It is much more preparation for us on our side to conduct a separate test, but it just makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we do have lots of users that are loving A.V.A as an IP, and they have played A.V.A in the past for years on end, and we don't want to discourage them from playing the game in the future. So we want to provide them the chance, but we'll announce it separately with the details accordingly. But for now, for this CBT, it'll be for NA and EU only, and
Okay.
MENA. Sorry,
Yeah.
the region as well,
So that would be Northern Africa and
Middle East.
Middle East. Yeah, correct. Let's see. I had a question pop in my mind in the meantime as well, but I think I already forgot it. So that's not the best move. But let's see
I,
if
I,
we.
I
Yeah.
have a couple of topics that I want to actually proactively
Okay.
share with the community.
Well, let's start
Um,
with that.
yeah, first thing is if we look at this roadmap on,
Yeah.
I'm looking at your
I
stream
have
too.
it open
So
at the moment, so that works.
you don't have, okay. So I'm looking at your stream.
Hmm.
So looking at the roadmap, um, you see on the top middle section of the UI UX, we have included something called inventory shooting range, right?
Yes.
Not sure if this came up already before I came,
I
but the
did have a
inventory,
question on Discord yesterday. Is this a shooting range before you buy a gun, or is the shooting range for inventory weapons so you can test the recoil before heading to the battlefield?
inventory shooting range is designed to test out the gun and the recoil and the shooting mechanics and the feel for it before purchasing the gun.
Okay.
Now, that's the original idea, but the complication comes in when, right now, although it is still a testing build,
Hmm.
our original goals with weaponry was to provide it to users without cost. Okay, that was the original idea, right?
Yeah.
And that hasn't changed, by the way. So everyone gets all the weapons inside the game for free. You don't have to grind for in-game gold to purchase it. None of that.
Just for skins.
So if we stick to that original plan, we have to modify the use for the inventory shooting range somewhat,
Hmm.
and that is still being discussed internally. But we'll let you guys know once it's solidified. But for the time being, it was created originally for the function of testing out weapons before purchasing it from the shop. Okay,
In
so
the
that
old AVA, you mean?
even in
Mostly.
the old
Yeah.
AV, it would have been possible. I'm not sure regarding the UI, but for this UI that we have with dog tag, yes. So the thing with the inventory shooting range is that you can check out the weapons without, because right now you would have to enter a game and you would have to play the full match in order to test out the gun,
Yeah.
right? And you can't change your weapon per class within the game until it finishes and you exit to your inventory.
Depends. If you play practice mode in the old AVA, then you would be able to do so, but you would need to go to a practice channel in order to do that. But
Which
that was
again,
the closest you could get. It's not a shooting
yes.
range.
So speaking of the practice channel, again, as you can see, we are integrating and opening up custom match channels for the
Mm.
OBT build, right? So it's also in line with that as well. So the idea is inventory shooting range is a tool that we will modify for the use acceptable for A.V.A monetization model, and people can check out weapons in detail before entering a game, okay? Whether it be from inventory or from shop.
All right,
So
let me just
that's
write that
the
down.
idea. And custom mass channels is obviously something that people have wanted from Alpha, and it is valued as somewhat of a priority because this is an efficient way for users to actually physically test bugs or weapons in game for
Mm.
the testing period, right? So it's something that we will add for OBT. Um, but at the same time, we also wanted to focus and provide some options for our users during OBT
Mm.
that is reflecting upon um, gameplay or endorsing more gameplay time. So users playing matches on and off just for testing purposes, it does get boring. It does get old. So we want to add and incorporate matching or rank system,
Yeah.
as well as a daily match system inside the game, so that people can actually get a feel for how the game will play out overall from the OBT onwards. So you can
Mm.
actually get ranked. You can queue for matchmaking in a way, I guess. You can also create. We can also create tournaments through custom channels. Replay function comes in afterwards for the official launch, so that will be an addition to the rank system and the tournament system as well.
Okay.
So we're headed in that direction, and of course, the biggest thing is the esports platform integration. And I am speaking with all the associated people regarding that, including MythSky for ESL. So we are trying to get that ready for OBT for you guys.
Yeah, just to give some extra feedback on that, we're already preparing the ESL section as we speak. I will let out a post later on this week stating that on CBT we won't be able to host any cups yet because there won't be custom rooms for now, so no custom channels. But there will be during OBT. So during OBT we will plan some cups for sure.
Yeah. So and for the I am contemplating. It's not decided yet, but one of the ideas that I do have personally is to target an actual tournament event for the OBT, timing it with the available custom channel. We can organize it in a way that similar to hosting a cup on ESL, but
Mm.
having our own tournament online for the participants, allowing registration for teams. So players can group up as a team and register directly to us on Discord, and we would create a tournament rule, and you guys can experience the whole thing, right?
So more
So
of
that's
a puck-ish setup.
in a way, yes.
Okay.
So that's something that I would like to look into with our ops as well and our partners. So we'll keep discussing that.
Okay. Just to fall back on a question I got earlier on in the chat, which is actually really good. Since all the guns are going to be in your inventory already, and we still have a currency system, what will the currency system be used for apart from buying modifications for your guns?
No, this is not 100% confirmed, but the current idea for in-game currency is for utilization of box purchasing. So those
So we have
boxes would
crates.
contain, yes, crates would contain skins. You would buy the crates from whatever amount you have collected,
Mm-hmm.
and you would open it to find whether a rare skin or just something useless. and so on, right?
Okay. Just to answer your question straight away, Squirrel HR, what item stat track means, it pretty much means exactly the same as CSGO. When we look at character skins, I believe there are not going to be any character skins because they have different models and hitboxes. Am I correct?
That inclusive, that's also a topic relevant to the issue, but mainly because of the fact that um, we don't want to introduce any game theme breaking characters. So,
Mhm.
including like anime characters or just females in tights or what have you, right? So, although this has been, I guess, an accepted kind of thing in the past,
Yeah,
we want Ava Dog Tag to be a military concept
yeah,
gameplay experience. So um, in terms of the character, we are currently considering to revamp the character models, but it's not fully confirmed yet, nor the actual schedule of that delivery.
hmm,
But it's something that we are looking forward to doing actually in the future. So by that, the result would be a much more crisp and newer character models for your overall experience in game. So right now it is pretty old. We don't have to beat around the bush, but the character models originally started from 10 years ago, right?
yeah.
So
They're all the way
um,
back from 2007, 2008, right?
yeah, so
Yeah.
although there were changes along the way, it's still the skeleton of it is still pretty old. So we are looking at replacing those with newer character models in the future. But details on that, we'll release it as we get a better idea of the plan.
Okay. Sounds good.
Now, the
Yes.
clan system is something. It's a large. Kind of a bulky topic for us right now. So, clan system, we want to create a new clan system where it handles everything that it handled before in the previous AVA, but also modified so that it handles a lot more in terms of possible integration with match systems or clan wide matchmaking or even tournament entry and things like that. So these are some of the conceptual ideas that we have. We have not really touched up on it in terms of technical um, possibility,
Hmm.
but we think it would be possible. We are looking into it, and we'll let you guys know
Okay.
as we move forward.
Well, I think if we look at the clan system, it's good to have a base of what we had back in the days. If we look at 2011, we had like a certain system where you could be part of a second of a certain squad, which would also display in a different color in game, just to make sure that hey, this is like the elite team of this clan. I think that's a nice feature to implement as well,
Yeah, similar
and clan
to
related
how
items perhaps too.
like over. I'm not saying we're going to reference Overwatch, but just as an idea, how Overwatch League had started to introduce team distinctive character skins, not skins, but colors, so to speak.
Colors, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like considering the Olympics and how the Olympic athletes have their uh, country distinctive uniforms, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the similar idea. Is something that could be possible. It depends on our development roadmap as we start adding more stuff in the future roadmap.
Okay.
But it would be a nice feature, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds good. If we move up on the roadmap to the replay function, can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like, how does it work? Is it player server sided? How does it exactly work?
Okay, just give me a minute to catch up on your stream delay.
Okay. Well, it's pretty much showing the same. So there's not much that I need to adjust for now. I mean, we have the para video for later and something special to end off with, so for now we're good. That leads me to another question, though. Do we have any keys for the viewers?
For the viewers today, no, I'm not going to give away any keys. I will, however, provide keys to MythSky for his discretion on his Twitch for tomorrow before the CBT starts. But actually, you might not be here before the CBT starts.
No, right? I will be streaming, I think, closer to 6:30, 7 p.m. So about 3 to 4 hours after the CBT build is live, because I do have college. So that's it's gonna be a bit more tricky. But I will definitely stream tomorrow in the evening. That's for sure.
Actually, just give me a second.
He's going to get some keys.
No.
Well, since we have a little bit of a break, I guess this is a good moment to show the para video. So we're going to watch and listen to it. It's 40 seconds. This has actually been recorded by one of the higher up admins because Rob didn't have time. So let's watch and let's listen till Rob is back.
What do you mean higher up admins?
It was John who recorded it, right?
He's not an admin. He's my boss.
Yeah, exactly. A higher up position. Wait, what did you just send? Are there 20 codes?
Yes.
And you want me to drop them in the chat?
Not drop them in the chat, but I mean, like, think of a better way.
Giveaways? I guess so. Let us look into that when we are done with the video. So let's watch this first. So we have a different crosshair for the para, 20 bullets. It still sounds a bit like the Jägermeister, but it has a deeper sound to it. So there we go. That is the new para, and it sounds. I hope you were able to hear a little bit about that. People say that it is the old para sound, but if I'm correct, it's redone, right? Compared to Alpha 2.
It is redone. All sounds have been redone, not just a couple. So, yeah.
Yeah, it did sound a little bit different, so that is good to hear. In the meantime, I think I should head over to my Nightbot and see what I can do. I should probably do this on my laptop though, because I have it open there, and see how I can run giveaways with this thing. Oh yeah, this is how that works. Let's see. Can I do this? Yeah, I can. Okay. Can someone type? You know what? I shouldn't even ask. I should PM. You know what? Doesn't really help. Just type ! raffle in the chat so I can see if it works. If it does work, I can do some CBT raffles, because I have. How many codes do I have? 1 9. You type. Yeah, it works. Thank you. Okay, so it works. Let's see how many codes I did get. This is for CBT codes. So if you don't have a CBT code, join in. If you have one, please do not. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, exactly 20. So I have 20 keys that I can hand out. So if you don't have a code yet, make sure to join in so you can still get one. Yeah, well, the people are spamming some raffles in the chat, and I'll be drawing some winners in the meantime. Are there any other things of the dev roadmap, I should say, you want to talk about?
Aside from the roadmap, I would rather touch base upon the director's comment session.
Let me switch over.
Okay.
All right, I got it. I already have it pre-opened, so that's good.
Okay, so looking at this section, we aim to continuously add and expand questions and feedbacks and also answers from our director as we move forward. But majority of the questions are pretty straightforward, and
Mm.
they are directly from uh, the listed feedback forms that we created from alpha and post alpha
Yeah.
or the alpha 2. So many of these questions would be relevant to a lot of people in the community. But specifically speaking, I would like to talk about first the prime grenade cancellation.
Yeah, let's see the prime grenade cancel. Where the hell is this? Is that on their gameplay and system?
No, feedback suggestions, second left top.
Left top. Ah, prime grenade. It's literally the second option. So all grenades have now been modified to allow prime cancellation, where you may switch back to your weapon or weapons even after priming the grenade. So even after you pull the pin, you can still go back to your settings. That's what it basically means. Correct?
Yep. So that's the case. So we've tested it and it's really fluid now. So you can
Mm-hmm.
just switch back and forth, do as you like, and it's pretty good. Now, regarding the um, another topic is the 4K resolution
Yeah. Let's
on the right
see.
hand
4K
side.
resolution. Yeah, I saw it. I'm
Yeah,
quick at
so
this
the
thing.
4K resolution is not a technical issue, but it
Mm-hmm.
does support 4K resolution. But in terms of understanding what 4K stands for, I have actually researched what DCI is, and you can go check it out in detail.
Mm.
But basically, what it means is, in terms of gaming, it does AVA DT does support up to 4K, but not the 4K of the digital cinema initiative standard, which is movies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit different. But in terms of gaming, it should be covered, and we're good to go. Now, there are a couple of sensitive topics that I would like to base, touch base upon.
Yeah.
First is the raw mouse input. Can we find that?
Raw mouse inputs. Where is that? Was it not a gameplay and system? No, I saw it here.
It should be.
I'm always good at searching this. Well, actually, I'm not, but
It should be gameplay system.
okay. Um, Raw mouse input. There we go. We got it.
Okay, so raw mouse input to kind of explain this. Now, there is, if you take a look in the INI file, there is a section in the code for the raw mouse input, true or false. True being
Yeah.
enabling it, and false
I can
turning it off,
actually
right?
show that if I go there real quick. I can't see the chat for now, just so you know. Let's see. I need to go to Steam. Where do I have this? So it might be easier to show the people how it is like, because I did change the setting, because for me it is kind of important to actually change it.
Yep. So
Let's see.
while you find that, so the basics behind it, or the story behind it is, although it does say raw mouse input, it's much more than that because we were trying in the back in the day we were trying to modify it so that we would improve the quality for the users, but it wasn't finished. So the
Mm.
actual raw mouse input function is classified as incomplete. Although it does have certain functions enabled right now, it's still classified as incomplete. And for developers like us, if anything is incomplete, we don't suggest it at all. And that's just the way it is, right? And
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys can appreciate that. So we can officially say that this is a function and you can use it or decide not to use it. So we left this in the INI, um, and you guys do have the option of manually changing this to true or false to either turn it on or turn it off.
Yeah.
But we're okay with that, but we're not able to make this into a force change at all. So by that, what I mean is we have received some feedback regarding um, enabling raw mouse input so that
Mhm.
some of the more hardcore players can utilize it, and it makes sense, right? But as I explained, it's not a completed function, and therefore we can't endorse it at this time.
Okay.
So if you want to change it, MythSky can help you
Yeah, I
in
just showed it on the
explaining
screen.
how you can change it. So you can change it if you want to, but for the time being, we won't supply it as an option, or we will not force change it for you.
Okay. Just to add to that, if you want to change your resolution, you can do that in this file as well. It's all the way at the top. I have it set to 1920 1080, which is the highest in-game setting. If you want your setting to be different, either lower with black bars or higher, if the game doesn't support it, feel free to change it over here. It does work.
Yeah, so consider it as like a config file, and it is a config
Basically.
file. So you can manually alter some details for some of the options. I do not suggest changing a whole bunch of stuff that you don't understand, because you might ruin the build that you have or the client that you have downloaded, and that's not going to be good. And you might even prompt BattleEye to flag you for cheating. So um, try not to touch anything you don't understand. But in terms of the raw mouse input, because it's a widely known topic, I wanted to just explain that.
Okay. If we look at another option in the gameplay and system, which is also a main point of feedback that we had in Alpha 1, why does my crosshair automatically move downwards after I spray with my weapons? I think that's an
Yes,
important one.
that I think that's one of the most important ones, if not, yeah. So um, the issue, it's first of all, it's not an issue. Let me explain. Okay. Um, so in AVA, and when I say AVA, I'm talking about all of AVA from 10 years ago until now.
Mm-hmm.
AVA gun mechanics revolved around the same core, which is the one we're using right now. Also, we are changing parameters and some details to it, but the core element of the mechanics is the same. And the core mechanic revolves around a kickback system, which means basically a recoil. So the gun or the crosshair kicks back after you shoot a certain amount of times, and it starts kicking back in an angle that is wider than before.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets accumulated. So what happens is, if you spray, the kickback amount accumulates, and that's why you see the crosshair moving upwards all over the place, and you're aiming to the sky, right? So understanding this system, um, there has always been a counter system to this to bring back, which we basically can call it recoil refresh rate, where
Yeah.
the aim refreshes out of the cycle of the kickback, and it brings back the crosshair back to the original place. And when I say original place, it's not a specific place, but the original spot where you started aiming. So when you started aiming at the floor, that's where you'll go. Okay.
Okay, but if
Now,
you're like tapping, it still falls back with the same amount. So when you're trying to tap it, trying to recoil control it, and you keep it centered, it does go down to the floor though.
yeah, it always goes back to the original state. So that's the fundamental here. So it doesn't matter how much the kickback was or how less of it your kickback was. It always will revert back to your original positioning
Mm-hmm.
um, of your crosshair. Now, what happens when you spray is that people tend to it's automatically known to everyone that sprays that you have to compensate for the kickback and the recoil, and therefore you pull down your mouse so that um, the recoil or the kickback doesn't affect your aim, right? So when you're trying to spray a guy down, you don't let the crosshair go all over the place. You would control it with your mouse or try to, and pull it down so that it hits the target. Now, what happens with that is on the back end, the
Hmm.
system still works off of the same core aspect of the kickback system where the crosshair is supposed to kick up, but you have pulled down to compensate for that. And therefore, you're actually aiming down when you finish spraying, right?
Okay.
So it doesn't force your aim downwards. What happens is that's where your aim is now because you pull down throughout the spray.
Okay.
So when people see it, the reason why people complain about this and think it's a bug compared to the previous AVA is because the system delay or the refresh rate delay was larger in the previous AVA, whereas now we have made it shorter. So we have made it shorter so that the aim comes back to its original positioning much more quickly compared to the previous AVA.
Yep.
But in the previous AVA, you would have noticed that when you're running, you would start your aim would diminish or start going downwards, and you would be aiming at the person's feet, right?
Yeah.
If you don't compensate for it. So the system is the same. So we want you guys to test it out again during CBT. Let us know what you guys think. This is very important, by the way. So test it out, and just express how your feelings are towards the recall system and let us know. Try to be as detailed as you can, and we'll look into it.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
here to say it's not a bug. It's
Yeah.
not a bug. You need to understand the system.
Basically, to explain in short for the people that are confused, this is an actual full mechanic, and the mechanic will work the exact same for when you're spraying or for when you're tapping. So there are two options. Basically, have the system as it is now, or adjust it slightly, but then it will work the same for both spraying and for tapping, or to just remove it altogether. But in order to get the feedback aligned for that, make sure to give feedback about that after you've tested the CBT build, so Redduck will know what to do with it.
Yeah. So that's a big topic. That's a huge topic to tackle on, and we're ready to listen to you guys for further feedback. So just feel free to test it out during CBT and record some videos if you can, and just lay out all the facts and the suggestions that you guys have, and we'll work around that.
Okay.
Okay, so I gave Myth 20 keys
Yeah.
for his giveaway. So
I
whenever you're
threw in
ready, you
5
can.
so far, but I'll do some
Oh,
more.
really? Oh, you're just throwing them in. I don't even see them.
No, I'm doing giveaways. So you can see now how Taken has won the giveaway. So I send him a PM with the code, and then I move on to the next user. It's fairly easy. Do you want me to go through all 20?
Did I win any?
You didn't win any yet.
It's rigged.
You gave me 20 codes. Why do you want to win?
Because it's just the fact that I won that matters.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Sakosa did win.
I see.
Okay, so that doesn't make you feel better. Gotcha.
Couple other things that I do want to mention is that we want to hear your feedbacks in terms of how the community is going as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't asked that question up to today because we were so busy trying to uh, focus on the process and making sure that things are running smoothly. But we have our ops, including Myth here, and myself included. We want to know what you guys think in terms of the community.
Mm-hmm.
We want everyone's input on it, if possible. So, regarding how you guys feel related to some of the people that do chat, mostly like Bonsley, myself, or Zulu, or some of the other guys there. If you feel uncomfortable of some of the jokes that we are doing, let us know. Um, and regarding any feedback, any positive or negative feedback, let us know, and we'll try to also listen to you guys regarding the community as well, not just the game.
Yeah, we should put in a disclaimer in the general and the AVA discussion. If you see any of us typing there, don't take it serious. But if it's about feedback or questions and help, you can expect us to be serious.
Okay. Can we bring up the page that shows the in-game HUD change?
Then I have to go to the other dev notes. But yes, I can. I think, let's see, in-game... where was it? I know I've seen it somewhere.
It should be
Should be it.
under UI UX. No? No,
Yeah,
no, no,
in-game
that's not
HUD.
it.
Yeah, I got it. There we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So looking at some of the changes to notice here, we've cleaned up the in-game HUD for everyone. On the top, you will be able to see that on each side, everyone can see which class everyone's playing. Okay. So in the beginning, you don't have to press tab to see that anymore. You can see it and use it to your strategic advantage. If there's like four snipers on the other team, then you'll probably pick like, I don't know, Pointman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or just counter snipe them. So that's just something that we cleaned up, and at the same time, we wanted to introduce a new tactic and strategy possibility for you guys. Also, we've tried to minimize the amount of information provided on the in-game HUD. By that, I mean we wanted to remove as much of unnecessary information displayed so that you can focus on your crosshair and your opponent. So that's the idea. I think it does look much better than before. That's my personal opinion. Um, Also, try to include that feedback in the exit survey after CBT to let us know what you guys think about the ideas and the changes that were incorporated to the CBT in-game HUD. Okay.
Mm. Well, if we look at the in-game HUD, I mean, I really like how it looks like, but I'm still a bit curious about why the dog tags were actually added in the bottom right corner.
Well, it's always been there. It wasn't added. It was
Was it?
there during alpha, I believe, too.
I have not
So,
seen it during alpha, to be honest.
or then someone just added. I don't. It wasn't a topic, to be honest, that I know of. So I don't see that being a problem. If
Sakosa
you guys
says it
want it,
was there in alpha. Have I been so
yeah.
blind? I have
Well,
not
I mean,
noticed it.
it's not
Huh.
it's not major, right?
Huh.
It's just there. It doesn't play anything. It doesn't play a vital role in the game. So
Well, if I haven't seen it, then it's probably not distracting in any way. So that's good.
yeah, yeah. So I hope you guys looking at all these changes. I hope that you guys start to understand and see that it's not just a saying. Um, we want to communicate with the users and blah 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 just as a branding, but that's how we are trying to develop this game, literally. So we are trying to communicate with you guys, but we need your help in terms of that communication to be fruitful. So as MythSky brought up before,
Mm-hmm.
we ask that every feedback is constructive. And by that, I mean, don't say things in a way such as, oh, I hate the new para. Screw this game. Right? Like, what good is that? There is no feedback in that sentence, in exception of you hating the gun. So try to be more critical and providing more input on your feedback, such as uh, the bloom seems to be lessened and it kind of distracts the overall feel and the play experience of M14, right? So more bloom is required and things like this. Like, be more specific. Um, Provide some of your own logic to back it up, so that we can read through it and understand what the users want.
Okay. Just to touch base on another topic, which I've seen mentioned in the chat now as well. Do you have any like dates or goals when it comes to the open beta release date?
The target is actually beginning of November, but it means nothing at this time, to be honest. Again, as you guys have seen from Alpha um, into Alpha 2 and then now into CBT, we couldn't disclose exact dates until we were closer to the date.
Mm,
The reason is not because we're trying to be secretive, it's because we need to figure out the amount of work needed for the next build.
mm.
So, in order for us to decide upon how the CBT build would be, we needed to check out your feedbacks. We needed to understand what the community wanted, and we needed to know if we could deliver it. So, it depends on a lot of facts. So, same thing for open beta. We are targeting and we hope we can open it up by November, but it would definitely depend upon all the feedbacks that do come in from the CBT.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see. Do we have any other things you'd like to look into?
I think I gotten across everything, but one last thing for me is non-game related. But on our Discord,
Yeah.
we would like to accept more active core testers if possible, and those core testers. And when we say core testers, it's not just the title; it is responsibility and also um, a preview entitled to a preview to the game in the future as well before the public sees it. So we are wanting to accept more people that are capable of providing critical feedbacks that is positive and that is active. So let MythSky or other ops know if you're interested and
Oh
just
god.
apply for the position. And yeah, and we'll be glad to have you on board. So that's something to look forward to.
Okay. Just again about the server locations. Can you repeat them real quick?
For you, it's Frankfurt. For NA, it is Virginia. And again, as I explained in Alpha, it is for testing purposes. It is not the final server locations, nor the number of servers. It is just very clearly for the testing purposes only. So when OBT and official launch comes, we'll preview and pre-announce the actual physical locations of the servers per region.
Okay. Sounds good.
MENA connects to EU.
Yeah, just like previously, they have about a ping in between 80 and 120, if I'm not mistaken, maybe up to 130. So it's still pretty much doable. But it also
Yeah.
depends where you live, obviously, and how strong your internet connection is.
Yep. And we have a huge pool of CBT testers this time around compared to Alpha. You can't compare. It's actually quite a bit. I'm not going to say how many, but it's quite a bit. So hopefully, matchmaking wouldn't be an issue this time around. And hopefully, we'll see you guys playing as much as possible for the 5 days. Um, because from the end of CBT till the beginning of OBT, you won't gain access to, or the public won't gain access to the game. So try to spend more time inside the game with your friends and join us.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Well, I guess it's a nice way to end off. But do we have any teasers, perhaps, to still share with the community of stuff that hasn't been mentioned yet about either CBT build or the future of the game?
Oh, like Face It integration?
Well, you did mention that already. I wasn't too happy about that. I was like, this is our thing. We can use this to promote the game.
No,
You're like,
because
oh, we have everything on the website and that's included.
no, it's because the guy, some guy said because we're working with ESL, Face
Hmm.
It is out of the picture, right? So I was
Why
like,
is
what
it?
the heck? I guess he understood it as, or mistakenly understood it as like an exclusive thing, whereas there is no exclusive things in competitive scene or in terms of the platform integration,
Hmm.
there's no exclusivity.
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean, having the two systems run alongside each other is much better than having one separate entity.
So Faceit and ESL is something that we are looking forward to. More details will be published and announced when the time comes by probably by MythSky. And because he's also tied to ESL, so he will know more details on it. But for the time being, the target is to have a cup going before the OBT if possible. Wait, that makes no okay. Get a cup pre-planned for the OBT. Okay, that made more sense.
Okay. Let me just go through all of my Discord PMs and before people get upset. Let's see. Let's see.
And a couple people asked me already today, but they were asking if they could stream during CBT. It's streaming and content release during CBT is all possible, just like alpha. So feel free to create content. Try not to, like, I ask you personally, but try not to create like bug videos and post it on YouTube. Like, what is that? Like, it's CBT. We're trying to bring in people, not like share the existing bugs.
Okay, I've pretty much replied to everything, so I can focus back on the stream again. Let's see how many keys I have left. I have 2 more left, so I can still do some. So let me just throw them out now. And this one.
How do we know if this raffle is not rigged?
Because the people can see it in the chat, because I just press a button which says roll and it immediately pulls the name of the user in the chat, so I can't influence the system. Just because you don't win doesn't mean it's rigged, Rob.
Oh, I can revoke all those 20 keys right now.
You'd make a lot of people upset though. Please don't do that. Alright, there we go. So those are the keys. So yeah, let's see, tomorrow at 3 p.m. CEST, which is a little less than 22 hours from now, the CBT will go live. I believe the servers are live 24 hours a day for 5 days straight. And yeah, as we said, make sure to list down all your comments that you have. Make sure to include them all in your feedback form. Even if your friends already listed it, make sure to keep on listing them so everything has been listed there. I'm not sure if we have much more, do we?
That's pretty much it. We'll try to join you guys. We'll try to have our devs join you guys if possible during CBT. And just have fun. Have fun in general. Just bring back feedbacks. Let us know what you think, and we'll see how things play out.
Okay. Before we go offline then, I have something else, so don't go anywhere yet. This is something that I purposely did not disclose because I didn't want it to go out in the wrong way. Let me just prepare everything for that though, because otherwise that's gonna go wrong. Let's see. Right, okay, so that's all set up. What I wanted to disclose and how I want to end off this stream, you might have already seen something out of the ordinary, so I'm just going to walk a little bit back in my room, because if you saw it correctly, you see some t-shirts in the back of my room. I still have a couple left. And we're going to do one t-shirt giveaway right now, right here, in the Twitch chat with all the users that are here. So make sure to type !shirt in the chat if you want to be able to win one. Do note though, if you have already won a shirt by one of the events, you're not getting one, obviously. We're going to give it to a new user. But this way, at least the user is going to get it who is a dedicated A.V.A member, because I don't really want to do it via Gleam giveaway and then some random user who just wants a t-shirt is going to get it. But a true member of the A.V.A community is going to get it. So I'm going to do one t-shirt giveaway right now. Shipping is going to be around $10 for me. So if I want to ship all of them, it's going to be fairly expensive. So I'll see how I'll work around that. But for now, I've decided that I'll do one for the stream at least. So I'll give you a couple of times to join in with that giveaway. !shirt is indeed what you need to type. And let's see, we have... How many users do we have already? We have quite a few users in already. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to draw the winner in a few minutes. And I'll make sure to, obviously send you a message. Get the contact info all set up. And then I'll be able to ship that away. Most likely tomorrow. No, the day after. No, tomorrow. I can do it in the morning. And yeah, I can choose, I can ask for size because I still have one M. I think I have 5 large and 4 extra large or so left. You gave me way too many t-shirts when we met up a few weeks ago, Rob.
That never happened.
It's alright though. But yeah, there are some t-shirts right there. So don't forget to join. I'll just type in the chat so you're definitely sure that you type the right word. So this is what you need to type. But yeah, if I understand correctly, it won't be possible to buy these shirts in the future or any other way. Right?
Yeah, we're not selling them. People have asked me actually. They're like,
Yeah,
I'll buy a bulk.
Let me actually check where my vest is because I have an A.V.A vest as well. Where is it? It's probably in my closet or somewhere.
But you have 3 shirts, don't you? Not just 2? You're wearing one.
Yeah, I'm wearing one. I have like one in the back
Give
of
that away.
Here, so here.
It's an added bonus.
That I wore it.
MythSky wore it.
No, look, these are all the t-shirts that I still have. Oh, and don't forget, I also have stickers. So you're also getting a sticker with it. That must be an added bonus. But where's my vest? I think I have to search for that. I probably left it somewhere in my closet. But I can't find it right now. So yeah, you're gonna get a sticker as well. Let's see, we're currently at 5:18. 2 more minutes and then I'm going to announce the winner. Again, it's going to be only one user that's going to get it. And I'll contact you here over on Twitch. And then we'll get all the information set out so I can send it to you tomorrow. And I'll make sure to ship it with a tracking code so I can provide that for you as well. Which of course helps me out if you're like, hey, I didn't get my stuff. I have a code, but you can also track it and see when it's gonna come. So you have 1 more minute while we wait for that. Anything else you still want to say before we close off, Rob?
No, that's it. Just just try to be more engaging in the community. Well, I always see the same people speaking, namely Bonsley, but he's doing his job. But in terms of we want to get to know each other, right? We have 5K members in the server. Oh, by the way, speaking of 5K members, once we hit 5K, we're doing a giveaway, aren't we?
Yeah, with 500 extra keys, right? But that was for CBT. Do we still have it? Did we reach it already? We are currently at 4,871, which means we have 129 users that still need to join the Discord. Let me just link it in the chat. But yeah, if we reach that during the time of CBT, this is the link by the way. If we reach that during the time of CBT, we'll have 500 extra keys indeed. So that's quite something.
Yeah, and we'll do that 500 key giveaway through MythSky's stream too.
Through my stream, you want me to draw 500 individual users?
Yes.
God damn it. That's gonna be
So
tough.
we'll announce the schedule.
What about a Discord bot?
That's a separate event.
Ooh, so there are more keys.
Possibly.
Okay, fair enough. All these teasers being dropped tonight. I like it. Right, so time's up. So I think it's time to find out who is going to get that t-shirt. The t-shirt is going to Swap Me 3. So congratulations, you are going to get the A.V.A t-shirt. I'll be sending you a message right now, and we'll get all the information streamlined. So hopefully I'll be able to send it to you tomorrow.
Probably lives like right next door, right?
I have no idea, to be honest. So let's see what he's going to say in the chat. Let's see, Swap Me. I'll just send him a message real quick and see what he says. For now, he hasn't sent a message in the chat just yet. When I'm going to do the rest, sirs, I have no idea. Like I said, they cost $10 for me to ship. These are all the shirts that I still have available. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 t-shirts in total, which means that would be like $80 in shipping. So that's all for my personal cost as well. So that's why I'm doing it more on a lower roll. And Swap Me has replied, so he's here. Welcome. Where are you from, actually, if I may ask? Then I know that. Just the country. You don't have to list your address, obviously, on stream.
You're from like Argentina.
Well, I already found out that
like
international shipping
$40.
is going to be $10 regardless. But when it goes outside of Europe, I need to include a customs message. And he is from Israel, so I will need to include a customs message for that. But should be all good.
Israel. That's far away.
Well, you have been there.
No, I haven't been.
Oh, no, you are not allowed to go there. Now I remember.
Yeah.
You may want to explain that, actually.
No, I just went to. I went to Iran in my previous work for a business trip, and I can't go to both countries. You can only go to one. It wasn't my choice. If it was my choice, I would have gone to Israel.
Okay, fair enough.
No offense to any Iranians here.
Okay. Well, I think with that, we're going to round off the stream. We'll just watch the para video once more before we do actually head off. Here we still have it. But yeah, for everyone who was around today, thank you very much for tuning in. And tomorrow at 3 p.m. CST, a little less than 22 hours, make sure to go and play CBT build. Just wait for the sprays to finish. And that's it. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow later on in the evening for the CBT stream, probably around 7 p.m. And I'll make sure to bug Rob for some extra keys.
Alright, guys. Night.
Good night.